Optimus! What? I have finally made it to Yolopark, and now I'm bigger than you. Bigger in size, but not in numbers. Wait, what? Sup guys, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Rise of the Beasts Yolopark Scourge model kit. And I know, I'm a little late with this figure, but never too late. After like about a good 7 to 8 months of waiting for the next wave, it's finally here. And I'm looking forward to unboxing all of them, starting with Scourge, and then later on Rhinox and Cheetor. As I did do a poll with these guys, and Scourge was recommended to be the first one to review, with Rhinox being the second. I bet Rhinox was the second because of the Optimus Prime accessories, not because of the figure. I don't know, maybe. But anyways, before we unbox the figure, let's take a quick look at the packaging. On the front is a nice little artwork of Scourge, actually, which Scourge is the nickname for the concept art Scourge, which is also the inaccurate artwork of the CGI model of Scourge in the actual movie. But nonetheless, this is still pretty cool. And of course there's names, logos, and more logos. On the side is an artwork of Scourge, and on the other side is also another artwork of Scourge. On the top is the Rise of the Beast logo, just a little bit upside down, but on the bottom not so much. The bottom and top are like basically the same thing. And on the back you get a nice view of what you get inside the box, whereas some features that he comes with. And I suppose this is an instruction manual on the back of some assembly required for the Scourge model kit, but a rather easy assembly. Very easy, actually. Oh, and of course there's more words and logos, but that doesn't really matter. Anyways, I think it's time we get to the unboxing. Also, what I noticed when unboxing this is that this is very easy to remove now, and there's also some extras. Anyways, looking at all the pieces over here, this is going to be quite an interesting assembly, but I'm sure it's quite manageable nonetheless. Unfortunately, I did not show the hand snapping in because it was a complete pain in the butt to snap it in, so I had to do it off camera, and I can't feel my index finger anymore. And here we have Scourge out of the packaging. And I gotta say, he's pretty cool. Does anyone remember the leaked photos of the prototype version? Well, look what it's come to. So anyways, the painting and sculpting is pretty good. Although the paint does have a lot of repetition in regards to dark gray, black, and silver, with the little dots of red. Behind this chest bar, would have been nice to see some orange flame, or more so clear plastic orange flame, to replicate his oven sort of chest. But I suppose the budget was already too high, as there is a lot of money being put into making sort of figures like these, especially if they're supposed to be mini 3-0 immaculate figures, let alone maintaining a price of $30. It's been upped by $1 or so, but it's not too bad. This figure's still worth buying, but anyways, the details are really good. The details do a magnificent job replicating the CGI model, and the fact that this figure is super posable, actually a little bit more posable than some of the Studio Series stuff, is amazing. Anyways, that head sculpt looks really nice. I really like the addition of the Terracon logo onto his face, sort of reminiscing the Decepticon logo on Tarn's face. I wonder if that's where the designers for this model got the inspiration of when producing Rise of the Beasts. The chest bar is also pretty cool, although it doesn't look like it would spread out as if Scourge were to take a deep breath like it would in the movie. Oh, and the arms look really nice too, especially this claw arm. The claw arm looks nice. Oh, and the legs are pretty cool too, especially with some extra armor that's on top of the endoskeleton. That's paying some pretty good attention to detail. But then you turn to the back, and of course you get these nice little smokestacks and the silver spinal column. That's interesting that they've painted that, actually. And then these things, I forgot what these were. Another thing I noticed is that the wheel serves as the hip for the leg. Going back to the wheels, there's actually a little bit of the wheel sticking out right there. But if you move this out, you'll see that it's just half of the wheel. But still, no big deal. Now, quality-wise, pretty good, pretty good. I don't really have any problems with the quality of this figure. The joints are not too tight, not too loose. They're alright. However, there are some instances where some of the pieces like to fall off, which leads to a record-breaking amount of frustration, especially when you plug it in and make sure you force it all the way in, only for it to fall off not too long after. Yeah, quite frustrating. Also, another thing I noticed is that there's a buttload of Terracon, Predacon, and Autobot logos that are around the arms, which is pretty cool in and of itself, and also another example of paying close attention to detail when designing the toy. Speaking of which, the hand is really nice too. Well, Scourge's left hand. I like how long his fingers are, how pointy they are, how sharp they are actually. You could cut yourself. But nonetheless, quality is not too bad. Now, moving on to accessories, he does hold quite a few. But first, let's talk about this little head add-on piece right here, which, if you remember in the movie, Mirage kicked the nice little Terracon logo off of Scourge, which revealed his internal face, which looks quite ugly. However, I don't remember there being a big rectangular hole on the forehead of Scourge. However, Yolopark also thought of that situation as well and gave an add-on for the head, which requires a face removal once more, and oh my goodness, what is that? Okay, this is getting creepy. Let's just plug in. Anyways, here's Scourge with no mask and also no rectangular hole in the middle. For some reason, I got two of these. Hold up, check it out. Okay, that fell off. Here's a nice little pose of Scourge holding his mask on his hand rather than on his head. Sheesh, that still looks ugly. Anyways, moving on to the other accessory, here is his nice little sword, which thankfully the blade on the back does not bend, unlike the Studio Series 1. Anyways, looking at this tab right here, there is a slot on the bottom of the arm in which both tab in, and here's Scourge with his sword on. Yeah, Bumblebee's not getting out with this one. Although, would have been cool if the sword was a little bit longer, so that way he could puncture his victims without his hand being all messy with Energon blood. Gee, I wonder how messy his hand gets per stab. Makes you wonder, I guess. And then moving on to the third, last, and also my favorite, the arm cannon, which does look quite nice. In order to integrate the arm cannon onto Scourge's right arm, you're gonna have to remove the claw arm and then swap it out for this. Anyways, you're just gonna go ahead and plug it on right there and then close in the fingers. And I gotta say, the gun looks quite accurate, almost. Well, depending on how you look at it. Since the transformed fingers are each individually articulated, you can have fun with them and display the gun however you want. Perhaps change the gun to a different look. The gun can also rotate, just not as loosely as this, but nonetheless still a pretty cool accessory. They're both pretty cool, actually. However, for the arm cannon, I wouldn't have minded that other arm cannon that Scourge used to infect Air Razor. Also, the arm cannon that was used for the Super Bowl advertisement. What's the difference between two of the guns? Well, for some reason, the longer one shoots an infected bullet, and this one's the normal one that shoots live rounds. Although I feel the long one doesn't really make that much sense for infective bullets. Perhaps it's just used for long range. But anyways, I wouldn't have minded an extra accessory of that. However, I think that would have been asking too much. Sadly, there's no weapon storage. It's alright. Unlike the Studio Series Scourge, you can remove the bicep arm, and you could also remove this arm, as well as the head, to replicate what was left of Scourge after Optimus killed him. Anyways, next time around, I hope Yolopark does Battle Trap and Nightbird to, of course, go alongside this guy. And who knows, maybe some Terracon drones. Although I think that may be asking a lot. Who knows if they'll do something like that. Although I think for now, Yolopark is going for the essential characters from Rise of the Beasts, as well as making their way towards some characters from the Bumblebee movie and even Bayverse. But that's a story for another time, for another review, as well as another wave that I think is going to come out either later this year or early next year. But anyways, I think it's time we start talking about this guy's articulation, which of course is quite complex. ball joint at the head, which allows an up and a down, and a swivel. And then if you look closely, there's also that next piece, which is also on a ball joint, which allows for a double up and a down, a double side to side, of course. Oh, and then these silver pieces like to move up and down as well, which I believe they're used to move out, further allowing a little bit more of a ball joint for this arm right here. And then the shoulder pad is also on a ball joint, which allows an up and a down and a swivel. But its primary usage is to extend, so that way it allows for an extra bend at the shoulder, bicep swivel, double bend at the elbow, and a very loose swivel on the right hand, as well as 4 individual articulated fingers that only having 2 points of articulation. The reason to why the right hand swivel is so loose is to, of course, make this thing rotate like crazy, as it did in the movie, and I think that's pretty cool. However, when we turn to the left hand, it's a little different. Ball joint at the wrist, and the 3 fingers are actually individually articulated, which having 3 points of articulation, which is pretty impressive. However, the thumb only has 2 points of articulation, but hey, that's quite realistic, as that's how it is for a normal human hand. Anyways, the top of the chest goes side to side, as well as crunching forward and backwards, and there is also a slight swivel joint. And then down here is another swivel joint. Legs can spread, leg can move forward, can move all the way backwards as well. But to further extend the forward movement, you can move this out like so, which is quite weird, but it's something you can do now. Thigh swivel. Bend at the knee. To further extend the bend of the knee, you can move this back piece outwards, and then there you go. Which does expose this little thing right here, sort of a Mecha Live gimmick, I guess. And then there is also some foot articulation, as well as some foot pads moving outwards to allow for a more up and down for the foot. And of course a swivel. On top of that, a side to side. And if that wasn't enough, the foot can also do this. Well, the front of it at least. Yeah, this guy has a lot of articulation, which does allow for some pretty good posability. Like this, and of course this. Yeah, for any of you photographers out there that are also Transformers fans, these Yolopark figures are extremely useful when taking pictures. You can even have a good picture of him fighting against his opponents. Kind of like what you're seeing right now. Anyways, I think it's time we move on to size comparison. Starting off, here he is next to the Yolopark Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime, Yolopark Optimus Primal, Yolopark Bumblebee. Moving on to some Studio Series, here he is next to Studio Series Scourge, Battle Trap, Nightbird, one of my recent reviews, the Scorponok, Freezer and Novocaine, which, no, this is still not an accurate comparison between the 3. Exosuit Noah Diaz, Bumblebee, Mirage, Optimus Prime, Airazor, Cheater, Rhinox, Optimus Primal, Ultimate Optimus Primal, don't mind the Battle Masters, and lastly, here he is next to the Studio Series 86 Scourge. Because why not? Anyways, here's Scourge alongside all of the other Yoloparks I have. Well, unboxed. I still have 2 that I haven't opened yet. But anyways, I hope the AMK series continues to grow in numbers. There's already 9 live action figures that I know of from Yolopark, 3 of which that are still in development. One of the 3 being very exciting. But anyways, there is unfortunately no transformation, of course. I mean, come on, look at him. Doesn't even look like he can transform. Well, to be honest, same thing with Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus. But despite these Yolopark figures not being able to transform, that shouldn't take away from collecting these figures, as these figures are well worth collecting. They're superposable, they're starting to come with accessories now, makes them even more fun to play around. So yeah, comment down below which one's your favorite Yolopark figure out of the entirety of the Yolopark AMK series, or comment down below which one you are very excited about. Or comment down below your most anticipated Yolopark figure that is yet to come. But like I said, hope they make more. Would have really appreciated to see more Rise of the Beast characters. Maybe even some more Bumblebee figures too. And oh boy, don't get me started on some Bayverse stuff. If Yolopark does make more Bayverse figures for AMK series, I'm gonna go broke. I think we all are. But anyways, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all I had to say for this guy. Overall, pretty great figure. Definitely recommend picking this guy up. If you want to get him, he's available now on Amazon for $36. Or if you want to go the cheaper route, you can get him for like $29.99 at the official Yolopark website, or even Shozi Store. Assuming Shozi Store even has those. I think they do. Let me know in the comments. Anyways, be sure to slam that like button, share this with your friends, turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss another video, and most importantly, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button so that way we can pass... forget that last part. I don't really care. I'm already at 5,000 subscribers. But anyways, see ya.